Hello and welcome. I'm Hullhound, and today I'll show you how to add feedback into your game using particle effects. I'll start by explaining what particle effects are, how they can be used, and how you can then make your own. My example today, I'll be creating a dust cloud effect when the player walks or runs. This means that not only do we need to create the particle effect itself, we need to attach it to the player's skeleton and initiate the particle effect at the right point of the animation. Doing this adds visual feedback to the player, that they are moving and attached to the ground, which can help increase immersion. So what are particle effects? Particle effects are a visual element that you can use in games to add some form of visual flair. They're often used to simulate natural phenomena, such as fire, smoke, etc. They can also be used for butterflies. They can be used for magic attacks, blood splatter, things along those lines. They're the elements that you can use to really add juice to a game and make the visual experience feel more compelling. Particle effects get their name because they're made up of particles, where a particle is an individual visual element. So, for example, in our example today of dust clouds, a given part of a dust cloud would be one particle, and we'll then combine them by having a multiple. Similarly, a blood splatter would be a series of blood drops or blood stains that you would then combine. Let's get started making our particle effect. To begin with, let's download the particle pack from Kenney, which is a wonderful resource that you can use for free. To make it easier, there's a link in the description. Once we've added those textures into our Godot project, let's go to our player character and create a CPU particles 3D node. At this point, I'm just time-lapsing the creation of this particle effect. I want this video to focus on the aspect of integrating the particles and creating feedback, rather than it being around the actual creation of the particle effect itself. But please let me know in the comments if you would like to see a video on going through these options and how to actually create a particle effect in terms of the process. I do, however, recommend that you take time to take what's on here, play around, and actually use these features that are available and actually experiment. Each option is well described if you hover over it for the tooltip, and you can then easily see the results on screen as you're tinkering with them. This is a really good way of getting fast, immediate feedback and learning quickly. The next step is to add the particle effect to the foot so that we can then actually have it in the right position as we're actually playing the game and moving the character. The easiest way to do this is to use a burn attachment on the skeleton. So you can do that by creating a burn attachment and then dragging the particle effect as a child of that burn attachment. You do need to make sure that you link the burn attachment to the relevant burn, in this case left foot, and then move the particle effect to be in the right position relative to that burn attachment. So as a quick exercise, take what I've just shown on screen and walk through there and give it a go for the right foot. And then in a moment, I'll walk you through how to do that. So pause it now. Welcome back. So super quick one, as we follow the same process that we did for the left foot. So we create a burn attachment, we link it to the relevant burn, and then we duplicate the dust cloud and place it as a child to the burn attachment. Nice and easy. For our next step, we need to make the particles emit at the correct time. So to start off with, let's turn off the autoplay of the particles so they only run when we want them to. The next part is to try and find the right point when we need to be emitting the particles and having a dust cloud appear. So what I like to do is to reduce the speed of the animation so I can find the exact point. In this case, I've gone to 1%, but you can also go to 0 to actually effectively pause the animation. From this, I can quickly deduce that the points when my feet touch the ground are at 0.1 and 0.4 for my running animation. What I need to do here is then create a call method track at the relevant points, and then create the method that then starts the particle effect. As I'm using an add-on and the animations are in their own scene, I need to expose the signal rather than calling it directly. What we can do is then hook up a signal, and then at the player level, we can start the particle effect from emitting to emit. And that's it done for the left foot. Hey all, future me here. I forgot to actually set the method track during the time lapse, so here's me doing it. And here's a quick check just to make sure that it actually does work, and it does. Okay, back to past me. So your challenge is to do the same thing for the right foot. So go through the same steps and get the animation playing when your right foot hits the ground. So since I know that the right foot finishes at 0.4 seconds, I will add that in, create a method track, and then I will create a function to relate to that. Once I've done that, I can then trigger a signal and then go through the same process of, in the player level, connecting to that signal and emitting the particle effect. A small little change that we can do at this point, just because I think it looks a little bit better, is adjust the alpha of the particles over time so that it fades away and it simulates the particles spreading out and disappearing as it progresses through the animation or effect. So in this video, we went through what particle effects were, how we can use them, and how we can make our own, and then how to integrate them into our own game, in this case, for a rocking animation for dust clouds. If you have any questions about particles, please drop them in the comments and I'll respond. Equally, please send me a link to any particle effects that you create. I'd love to see what you create. Remember to like and subscribe so that the video can reach and help more aspiring game developers. Have a good one.